Okay, cool. Awesome.
I'll let you do it.
All right, so we are live. Welcome, welcome. If you guys are coming in, my name is Jebran Siddiqui. I have been a client of Roger's for the last 7 years. In earnest, the last 3 years. I met Roger in 2016. I moved out here from Louisiana, and I was just trying to start a new life. I had a lot of healing that started naturally, cosmically around 2012. So I guess it was like 3 years in, 4 years in, 2016, I moved to California. I just wanted to get clean. I wanted to chase my dream, which is being an actor and a comedian. And I ran into Roger 2016 in Hollywood, mid 2016. And from there, we started talking about Tony Robbins' personal development, things of that nature, self-improvement, which led us down to the rabbit hole of Ascension. And that's where we really matched energies. Roger was aware of these cluster headaches that I was getting. They were similar to just the worst migraines you can imagine. And I'd been having those for a couple of years, 2 years leading into my conversation with Roger. And I didn't know if it was from having a deviated septum, from partying too much in my 20s. I just knew when they'd come about, it was really hard to keep my wits about me and go about my day. It would literally have me in the corner, fetal position, hand on my head. So when Roger told me that he'd also gone through it, at first I was a little skeptical. I didn't think he understood the magnitude of what I was going through, but then he shared his story of how he went through years of the same purging or cycle upgrades, whatever you want to call them. And that's when I also got introduced to the Wilhelm messages. I think at the time it was called Any Advice for Today. And for about 2 years, I followed it. You know, Roger would send me text messages on certain mornings. And then once I started to resonate with it, it became an everyday thing. I started following the page, the Any Advice for Today. And that's when it got a little freaky in terms of how much it resonated with what I was actually going through in my own personal life. And I shared it to some of my friends who were also on a similar spiritual journey. One of my friends from high school, who's also out here in Los Angeles now, he also follows Wilhelm and the messages really closely, to the point where I would say where I have reached a point in my career, in my comedy career now, I would not have been able to take those bold steps were it not for those messages. And just to give you an idea, 7 years ago, 2018, I had done absolutely zero stand-up shows, zero open mics. But since the messages and since I've been implementing the messages as well, I have right now, as I'm sitting here, over 100 shows on my belt, and I've hosted, produced, headlined everything you can imagine: cruise shows, club shows, arena shows, venue shows, and it's kind of wild, but it's honestly more aligned. I got to stop saying wild and crazy, because after about 2 years of listening to Roger's messages, I was like, okay, I got to stop saying this is crazy, because it's just aligned. It's real. It's actually the blueprint. And if you follow it, it will take you places, the places you've dreamed of. And yeah, that's just my little introduction.
Perfect. No, that was a perfect introduction, and I'll tell you why. Because everything that Gibran just said is stuff that I couldn't have believed. And the only difficulty that any of us has in our lives is what we can believe. It's individually and in our world. And I'm going to prove it to you today, because we have to become honest. We have to accept who we become. And we never know who that's going to be. None of us do. When we come into the world, we have to navigate with our consciousness. Our consciousness gets formed by where we came from, our parents, our countries, whatever it is. But as humans, we're meant to navigate our own lives, and that's called self actualization. It's called self empowerment. It's called all of those things, our personal development. But the fact is, if we do it, then we have great lives. But we don't always know how to. And then sometimes we will doubt ourselves and we will forget and we don't understand our mission and our purpose. And I did all of those, so I do know. And so the reason I wanted to do this today, I needed Jebran here because it's difficult for me to say certain things by myself, being this introverted person. But the fact is, I received the key to your life and our world. The key to your life and our world are the same thing because we all come into the world to do something, each person. But the only thing that happens is that over all time, we start to think that maybe we aren't the ones. Maybe we don't have enough. Maybe we're inadequate, all of those. And so then some people come along to say, no, that's not true. And we change it and we develop philosophies, we develop religions, we develop lots of things. And you never expect you're going to be the one to do it. And that's what I did. And now you're going to see it because there's organization in our world because it's all energy and all energy and information. We are the ones who are conducting it. I started learning it in 1989, but that wasn't when it began. I did everything else everyone else has done. I did personal development. I did all kinds of courses and programs and everything you can think of. But then I said, let me see what's inside me. That's usually the place we find. That is the place where we find everything. But for most people, that's the place we don't want to look. The only difficulty, and this was a Carl Jung thing, and I love him so much because of this, because we can understand. Most of us don't want to look at ourselves. We will stay in uncomfortable situations because we don't want to see what's outside of us. And you think, well, why would we do that? Because we get afraid of the unknown. Every single person, when we live, nothing, in this moment, the thing that we're meant to create hasn't happened yet. It's still right in front of us. And so, but we have to do something to cause that to occur. But if we've been told over decades that we're not worth it, or eons, talking about our cultures, then we can't change that. And so then you're told that you're given the thing to make that happen. That was too big. And then I can say ridiculous things like I downloaded the order of the universe and I kept running from it. And then it kept being shown that it was true and that I was meant to give it to everyone else. And if I were to do that, our world would be different. And you will think about that and say, that's totally impossible. And now I'm going to show you because it's true. I started in 1989. I didn't know why I was saving the messages. I wasn't going to show them to anyone. I just kept collecting them. And then I went about healing my life and understanding things that I couldn't explain to anyone because I'm curing things. And when Jabran talked about the headaches, that was one of the things that was so unbelievable because I suffered from those for decades and they're gone for the last 20 some years. So we have so much more ability, except we can't believe. That's the only difficulty any person has. And I sat and answered every question. I received the answer to every question any person could have because it's only in consciousness and all humans share the same consciousness. We just have to decide if we're going to believe it. So, what I'm going to do today is give everybody a way to believe it because that's what I had to live. And my life was challenging in the beginning. I went through so many things I can't even begin to tell you. But the only challenging thing I'm experiencing now is not having others believe and accept this information because I know the lives that they could live and I know that the world that we could have. And we can go through and talk about it. There's an energetic connection to everything. And sometimes we will do things we've never seen before. And that's what happened for me. And so I want everyone to understand because I got to change. We all have to change when we discover something new about ourselves if we don't become afraid. So, if you, Jebran, I sent you the message. Today is the 10th, and I sent you a message from 2020 on the 10th, and I just want to show that because when people read this information, they'll understand so much more. Let me start here. Think about information. How do we know anything? We learned it when we came in. We learned it from our family, our parents, our ancestors, or whoever. But then where does it go? We pass it on to someone else. And so we keep doing that. And we can look at our world this is the information that Wilhelm had me see many years ago, had me go there, said, think about how your world has changed over centuries. Who's doing that? It's the people who are living. But we will form these other ideas like somebody else is controlling us, somebody else is doing this. And this is the period that we're in now. Because when I was told that we were going to move through this change in our world, it was going to happen within each of us. And we got to decide if we're worth it, if we have something. And then we start to live a very different life and we put a very different energy into the world. And none of that made sense to me the first time it was said. And then I doubted all of it. I even and that clarity came through in 2021, but we're going to go through a little bit more because in 2020 they were starting to tell me, and for everybody who's listening, who I'm talking about, that is Wilhelm that I connected to in 1989. Now we all have different ways of connecting to ourselves. You may call it something different, but we have consciousness. Every single person does. We just find different ways of developing it, religion or courses or mentors or whatever. I did all of them, so I do understand. But then the thing that happens, you can develop something else that you don't even know. And that's what happened for me. And I want others to understand it because the same thing could happen to you. I developed the ability to receive this information, organize it, and give it to others in a way that causes them to know who they are. And it was never anything that I was setting out to do. And actually, it becomes uncomfortable at times because I keep trying to give it to people and they go, no, this doesn't make any sense. And when I see the suffering going on in our world and in people's lives, and when I know they could be so much more, they could be happy and abundant. Because I had to go through downloading it all. So, Jabran, do you have that message?
The October 1st, 2021.
No.
You might have a masterpiece, not that one. Okay.
Okay, well, that'll come later because that's again all the stuff
You're
I
talking
didn't do.
about July 11th, 2020.
Correct.
Yes. You are not living up to your potential. Yes, we mean you as the individual and you as your world. The challenges that most of you have experienced in your lives, including Roger, has been not understanding your importance in the equation of evolution. Those words will make sense to you soon. Yesterday, at the end of a group's discussion Roger held, we had him blurt out at the end, "You teach what you need to learn." There was a startled look on the faces of all in attendance, especially Roger, as he didn't know why we had him say this. Now is a good time for us to further explain our use of pronouns. Roger is quite aware when his consciousness is speaking from his earthly understanding, which feels like his human self. But there are other times when information comes through he knows is not from his human self, and that would be us. That is why we will use the pronoun we. You each have your own we's that continually speak to you, and you alternately choose to listen and other times not, which brings us to the point of this message. Also, because you have not understood this message in the past, your world is now in its present condition. If you do not believe that, it is further evidence that you are not living up to your potential. Last night, Roger was awakened by the sound of a groan. When he opened his eyes, he saw his roommate there experiencing another painful night. Roger decided he would sit through this with him, as Roger has done so many times in his life, so he understands what is occurring, that not many others on this planet would. The same is true for you, but you have not acknowledged that, like Roger. As they sat in the living room in a state of meditation, Roger cried, not from a feeling of sadness, but one of regret and recognition. Years ago, Roger's brother asked him why he hadn't spoken of this ailment or his ability to move through it. The answer is that Roger, just like you, never placed the value on his experience and what he might offer to others because of them. But now he knows this for sure, and the title of this message will not be lost for him or for you. Finally, you and the world are not falling apart. You have only been resisting your potential.
And that is true for every single person. We've been taught that others have more than us, and so we keep carrying that on, which is why we're going through a generational change now. And accepting consciousness is difficult because it's individual for each of us. We've got to figure that out. And we don't know what's right or wrong in that equation. So then what kept happening in 2021 when I'm told that I had all of this information and and I received it in 2012. I was like, what do you mean? That doesn't make any sense. And then I found it on my computer, a folder that said Wilhelm that I hadn't seen that had all these messages, and they said if you meet someone, we would have given you a message for them on their birthday. And that seemed like the most ridiculous thing ever, but I had to check it. I had to start checking. And then every time I would meet someone, I'd ask them. Many people have probably seen that. What's your birthday? And then I would read them the message. I would go and find, a lot of times I was afraid. I was scared. I thought this isn't going to work. And it worked. And every single time I've done probably, I don't know, maybe 100 or more since then. And I will doubt myself. There was one lady that I met at a gathering, wonderful, beautiful woman from England, and we were having a wonderful time. And she's a bright sun, and we're talking. And I did it with her, and I pulled out the message, and it talked about something. I said, "This can't be her." Anger. And I read her the message, embarrassed because I thought she's going to think I'm out of my mind. And then she says, "That's exactly what happened to me this morning." I've had so many like that. One guy who just started crying right away because it gave him confirmation of what he had been moving through, what he was been holding. Then I was never going to do any of this. I'm just going to tell you all because I'm changing now. When you don't acknowledge your gifts, you don't do well. So I have to acknowledge this, and I want everyone to acknowledge who they are. I'm 75 years old, so I do know, and I've moved through all this stuff. So the only resistance you will have is becoming yourself. That's all of us, because we were all born with something to develop. But it's challenging because we've been told it was wrong. How could I be doing channeling or automatic writing? That wasn't something people were supposed to do. That's what I thought, and that's what I was believing. And then I just, wait a minute, there's consciousness here. Now, I'll tell you why this was different and why it's different in this time in our world. And I'm going to be very clear. I said, William, why am I doing this? I don't want to do any of this. This is bad. And so people are going to judge me. And I sat on my bed. It was in 2021, and I couldn't move because I hear things very clearly. And they said, you have to do this or you're going to break. I go, what? Me? The world? Doesn't matter. It's the same thing. If we don't do what we're the ones creating the world, so why wouldn't we want to own ourselves? Why wouldn't we want to become all that we could be? All the things we hear all the time. And especially with social media now, I see this all the time. They will like just jump around and look at videos and see little shorts, because we only have a minute to pay attention to something. And that's why they never change. I spent 37 years every single day doing my work, my morning work, as you can call it, that meditation, and I've written more stuff than you can imagine, and I didn't know it. Everyone else had to tell me, I had like 6,200 messages of all these years. But then the other thing, and I want everyone to understand this: there's order in your life and in our world, and I uncovered it. And telling people that, because many people will stay angry and afraid and upset with themselves. And there's a way out for all of us to sit and think you're holding the thing that could change anyone's life and change our world. I ran from it. In 2005, I had the dream, and I said, I'm not doing it. We've all done this to a certain degree, and tried to forget it. I put it away, and it had to be pulled out. Jebran was here that time, and then what happened? I'm just telling everybody because we hide from ourselves. I wrote it down in 2005. I hid it away. Was over here, needed a folder for something. Went in my closet, found the folder that I had written the dream, pulled it out, handed it to me, and said, "Here, catch up." Knowing that dream said, "You're supposed to do this." I'm just saying this because we've all done it. Everybody can say, well, no, it's not me. We've all done it. And Wilhelm would start channeling sessions, and this was the one that was really bizarre. He said, you haven't done your job. Your world would be different if you guys had lived up to your potential, because we're the ones who are creating it, except we've come to believe that other people are in control. So Wilhelm says what you're doing is you're moving through a generational change. And with that, we've given you the information. And Roger is the perfect example to bring it to you because he's been through all the crap. He's seen it all. But then they said something else. And he has an ancient memory. I go, what? That makes no sense. And so I tried to hide from it. I said, it couldn't have happened. I went and had two Akashic Records readings, things I'd never heard of before. First of all, I got to tell you, I didn't want to do any of this weird stuff. I wasn't going to do any of that. And I went to, I guess- I don't know if you know this one, Jabron, but the first lady that I went to, she had been doing it for a little while. And then when we were done, she looks at me and she goes, I think I'm supposed to be following you. I thought, what? I said, that didn't make sense to me. And then I went to the next one, and this was in December of 2021. And that recording is on my YouTube channel. You can search for Roger's Akashic Records reading and watch the entire thing because my denial was crushed and I broke down in tears because she said the words exactly what I had heard. We have given you a philosophy and it's called your life operating instructions. Anyone who uses it will have this wonderful life. They'll heal themselves, they'll become abundant, they'll live their life mission, and your world will change. And that sounded like a fairy tale. And then I kept seeing it happen with people that were doing the work. That's where we started. So now, today is okay, the 10th. What I started to discover is that there is an order, and I'm going to give everybody this information. I could have never known this. So I started seeing that I was receiving information on the same date over decades that was aligned because it demonstrates how we evolve in our consciousness over time as individuals and also as a society, as a civilization. So when we first began, Wilhelm would say, "Why was anyone born different?" They would say, "Stop there now. Now sit down." And you'll hear this in some of the sessions. I didn't know this was happening, but they would say, "Now, who's better than you?" And then you have to think about that and go, "Why? Why would someone be better than you?" And then you go back and go, "Well, okay, now, who's? Why are you better than someone else?" And they said, and when you can answer those questions, you have arrived at your awakening. You see, because we're all equal. We've just been taught something else. And then we shift that around over societies, over civilizations, and we do something different. And so, what you'll hear on the messages, I put it up today, and I had forgotten this. It's a channeling session from 2021 that's on Any Advice for Today. You'll see all of this that I'd forgotten, but everything is explained there. When I'm saying this, we have different levels of consciousness. When I am receiving Wilhelm, I'm not here. I'm writing from an information age of information place that everyone is connected to. And then what happened, which would seem like magic to most people, but it isn't. Because what began happening, I see that it was an organization that was uncovered and I hid from it. But I want you, I'm short to you now. Oh, Jabron, I didn't show you how to share this. Uh, if you go to, okay, first find the
Do we need
web.
to share a screen?
Yeah, if you go to anyadvicefortoday.com, that's where we're going to find everything.
I need advice for today.com. Okay.
I think tab may be open, and
Let me see. I don't think it is, but I'm going to it right now. Any advice
okay.
for today.com. Okay. I'm there.
I want everyone to go there because you'll find so much great information because I've been busy putting it up there. So the message for today, if you see that one,
Share screen. Um,
oh, you found it, yeah.
um, is it showing the screen?
No, now it is. Yep, there it is. Okay, and I can't. You can move it up a little bit.
All right.
We're just not seeing the top of it.
Uh, trying to see how to scroll down here. Um, da, 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 da. Okay. Is it you can still see me and the screen and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is. Yeah.
People
And
often ask oh sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
People often ask me, as they do with any other program, system, or personal development method out there, who is this really for? Wilhelm's answer to that question is always simple, direct, and uncompromising. It is for every single person, because as long as we are breathing, our evolution is never complete. We are eternal spiritual beings having a human experience, constantly unfolding something new. And where does that unfolding actually happen? It happens directly in human consciousness. There is not a single person alive on this planet who doesn't fundamentally desire to develop the expansive power of their mind, unlock self mastery, and achieve their true potential. That is exactly what is waiting to be discovered inside this 35-year archive. The order of the universe. For decades, I sat in my room every single day and committed thousands of pages to longhand script. I hid it away, I ran from it. I let myself worry about being judged or called crazy because accepting that I was downloading a transformative blueprint for humanity felt like too much to carry. But when we don't trust the voice we hear inside, we limit our own consciousness. Today, I'm letting go of those limitations and stepping into complete authenticity because I cannot ask my clients to embrace who they are becoming if I am unwilling to do it myself.
Okay. I'm going to explain this because now I'm going to have you do a search or stay on that page.
Okay.
Uh, okay. Perfect. Do the word perfect because this came up today. Everyone, we are perfect. We just don't understand that. And it's a process that we each come to. It's not one person, it's all of us coming to understand it. And when you search that, you will see.
You are weird, normal, and perfect. You are still weird, normal, and perfect. We had our
Oh,
messenger
wait,
here.
wait, let me show
Oh,
you. Know, I don't want you to do the whole thing. I just want you to show. Go scroll down. I want you to see how many messages come up underneath that just from searching that one word.
so we got the blueprint, the archival blueprint from December 16th. Um, what else we got? Oh, go to
Oh,
next.
oh, uh, yeah. If you just do search and you just, it should bring up a string of them.
Oh, for
Yeah,
perfect, right? I did, and this is
yeah.
what
And then
showed
under,
up.
yeah, and then if you keep scrolling down, the next message, you'll keep finding. Oh, you're in a different screen, I think so. Pull
Maybe.
up, yeah. If you click, okay, yeah, just actually click that, and then so you have that. Should bring up more. Anyway, everybody will be able to find it because when you do that, you'll see how many things come up.
Oh, okay. I see. I see. I hit continue reading. That's why it didn't allow
Yeah.
me to go down. Okay. So we have one from June 26, May 26, 2026, um, May 5th, 26, how I discovered the perfection of your life. July 26, 25, everything was always perfect. The timing of your birth was perfectly planned. December 3rd, 24. Now everything will be perfect. July 26, 24. Perfect universe, May 5th, 24. It's crucial to understand you were born at the perfect
Okay,
time.
that's the
Yeah.
point.
So looks
Now go
like
back
you're
to they're not going to be. This is what's so bizarre to understand this. Now do self acceptance. The thing that every single soul person wants is self acceptance, which is always occurring because we're never completely done with it. But when you do self acceptance, you'll see how much they gave us on that.
Yep. Self acceptance is success. Your success will change the world. The architecture of radical self acceptance. Your journey to self acceptance starts now. Self acceptance is the most challenging part of life. We gave you a guide to self acceptance. Self acceptance is your challenge. Self acceptance is your goal, is still your
Now,
goal.
great.
Yeah.
Now the other thing that holds us back is fear. Now do fear.
How to tell when your inner resistance is guidance and when it's fear. You might move beyond your fear today. Fear is your real obstacle, not talent. Ooh, I like that one. It has always been your fear. Why everyone's feeling fear right now. It is always your fear. Your greatest fear has been becoming yourself. You may still fear your greatest. Fear has held you back. You can move beyond fear today. Seems like it's
Okay. Now I just want to put that in there. I want any person to just go there and do it. Search whatever word you want, whatever difficulty, whatever challenge you're having, and see what comes up. It will. And then the other thing I'm going to explain. Jabran was talking earlier. He mentioned the word ascension.
Mm-hmm.
I said, that's interesting. Now, you can come back.
Okay.
I don't know if
Stop
you can
sharing.
stop the share. Yeah,
Okay.
because I'm just going to tell this story because I don't even know if you know it.
All right.
Um,
No worries. Uh,
J- Jabron was here, and this is I don't know years and years ago. He mentioned ascension. I go, that's interesting. I'm just saying this because I'm being completely honest. I said that's an interesting thing, and then I saw him. He was watching a video, and I came and I watched it, and I'm stopped, and I'm just mesmerized as I'm watching. It was Victor Odo. That's who I was watching, and I thought this is really interesting. He's talking about ascension. What is that? And then years later, maybe a year or so later, I went back and I said, let me search. Did Wilhelm give me anything of that? And then I went back and I found 2013 messages what that was in there, and I had no memory of it. I am saying this because more people understand this. We have different levels of consciousness, and I have to also say this because I said I was not like all the other channels out there because I was doing. We're all supposed to do something different and be something unique, and that makes it difficult. But what would happen is that I don't talk to the person. And that's what was meant to come through. When I first began, I would see people and I would have them there and they'd ask questions. And then Wilhelm said, stop doing that. Because the difficulty here is that people have made judgments on themselves from what they've lived and who they've become. And so if I'm hearing that coming from them, I'm going to pick up on it. And so they wanted to speak to your soul. So that's why when I'm answering there, the messages are going directly to that person. And I could never understand it because first of all, I don't remember it, but they would tell me later how it all aligned. Even people who were in the program would tell me they come to a Wilhelm channeling session, they ask a question. I never know who it is, but they say how it led them there. There is an organization, and we think of the quantum field. We've heard of that. We will not all understand that or accept it or believe any of it is real. However, if you go through my messages, you will find it. On in the advice for today, Jabran, there are a couple of um, I think on there today where I did an analysis of the messages. I believe
okay.
I'm going to put more up later because I want everyone to have all of this information.
Okay. So where do I go?
Oh, just the homepage.
Okay. Home.
Yeah. And so what's going to happen is um, on there, I think you should be able to scroll down and see I have some attachments there probably. Uh, okay, I have on that page or maybe the next one.
Um. So I am on
Hmm.
the homepage, I think, on the
Hmm.
Today
Yes.
tab,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
right?
And
But then
what?
if I scroll down, it's
Right.
just I'll be scrolling for a minute here. What am I looking for?
There should be a link showing the analysis or something like that of the messages. Or
Download Wilhelm's Ascension Guide. Not that.
well, that's good enough. You can show
Yeah.
them that. That's good
Okay.
enough. That's good enough. Everything will be on there later, but that's a good one.
All right.
I want you to understand when we talk about this, think about your life, think about our world, and think about how we learn things. It's over time. And when we talk about ascension, that's going to a higher state of understanding. We don't do that in our lives right away. We do it over a period of time. And then we do that individually and also collectively because we figure out what things work and then we use that and we pass it on to others. Then we can also get stuck. So does the world. And that's what happened here. And they said, your world is a little stuck and you're going to go through something so you can get unstuck. That's individually and also collectively. That made no sense to me until I saw it happen. And the division, the feelings, what you're moving through in your life is supposed to happen because you're being urged to become yourself. And that's the pressure we've all felt to remember who we are and why we're here. Every single one.
Do you
There
want me to
and
read that
so.
summary real quick?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So is that picture showing up of all the?
No,
It's
you
not.
might.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, you have to reshare it, and then you'll find a different tab.
Okay.
There.
Is it? You can see it.
Yeah.
The all the rough drafts, the sloppy copies. This summary outlines the Wilhelm's Ascension Guide, which
Oh, wait a
analyzes
minute.
an archive.
I don't think that's the right one. Let's see.
No,
It's on. I can't see it. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. That's it. It
this
starts with
summary.
that photo. That photo. First of all,
Yeah, that's a great photo. That's cool.
that's people. So how did you do this? I did it every single day, and sometimes we don't know why we're doing things. I didn't know why I was saving them. I didn't know it was going to turn into this, but it
Is
did.
that the whole 37-year treasure chest right there?
No, that's only 30. Because I stopped at a certain point because I stopped. I used to handwrite them a longhand every day, and then I stopped that because you moved to a different place. I could receive them differently. I could just type them.
Mm.
But that's the beginning of it. Okay.
This summary
You go ahead.
outlines the Wilhelm's Ascension Guide, which analyzes an archive of automatic writing received by Roger Burnley since February 1989. The archive compromises thousands of handwritten pages accumulated over 18 plus years. Although the material was received over a long period, AI analysis reveals it is not a scattered collection, but a single coherent narrative that develops specific themes across matching calendar dates. While some interpretations utilize astrological language as an interpretive lens, the core themes are directly verifiable by reading the archive chronologically. Thematic arc 1989 through 2023. The work follows a progression from recognizing innate power towards claiming it. Key developments include fundamental beliefs 1989. The practice begins with the idea that innate power and benevolence are central, noting that giving leads to having more. Self growth and perspective 2008 to 2012. This period focuses on self appreciation, finding purpose in difficult events, trusting in perfect timing, viewing healing as realignment, and anchoring power in the present moment. Conscious creation and patience 2013 to 2018. These years emphasize deliberate creation without needing to know the how, active patience, and treating change and mistakes as raw material for wisdom. Refinement and worth 2019 to 2023. The focus shifts to forgiveness, overcoming self doubt and feelings of inadequacy, and affirming one's intrinsic, essential contribution to a larger unfolding. Synthesized message. The core guidance encourages individuals to remember their inherent power, release self imposed limitations, embrace the present as the source of creation, and recognize their journey as an essential part of a larger collective expansion. The full archive remains available for review at anyadvice.com/archives/2930.
Okay. So now let me explain that one. Um, I had no idea this was happening. We each are developing something that we won't know until we start to look for it. I couldn't have known this had happened until we developed artificial intelligence, because as I said, I've been doing it since 1989. Several years ago, or a couple of years ago, I was advised. I said, use. People told me use it. Artificial intelligence to look at the messages, and some people judge me. Why are you doing this? Why are you and what was revealed was this organization that I had no awareness I was writing. I was receiving information that was, I've never studied astrology, astronomy, any of those things. But the messages and the information was aligned with the changes, the energetic changes happening in our world, because that's what affects us all. We may not understand it, but Wilhelm was giving us an interpretation of that. So then when the world started changing, and we all felt it in 2020, then they're telling me, you're moving through a restructuring. And I had no idea what that meant. Then in 2021, when I'm told I have all of this, impossible, then I started testing it. It started coming through, but I still had doubt. So then I spent the next several years, because now we are 2026, and I kept going back and I'm finding things that we couldn't believe because it's never happened in history in this way. No one had ever accumulated information that was organized, that explained things, that was connected to every single person, and it was challenging to believe. And so we had to say, well, what would it be? Think about it. And they said every person comes into the world with this blockages. That's all. And you've inherited them. So the more people who decide to move beyond them, then you start to live better lives and you have a different world. But we're moving through a period where we think some people are better than others, some people are worse than others. And they said that's never true. So we've given you a way to prove it, because now that's why we're using the energies of astrology to show that every single person born has a purpose and a direction, and they just have to uncover it. And the only problem is they've been programmed to think they can't. That's what came up. And I doubted it, and then it kept being proven. So today I'm giving people this opportunity. Now, I didn't believe myself. That's the only difficulty that we will have. Even though I have healed everything, moved through every challenge, done all of that, it's but that disbelief that was still there. So I decided, now I'm going to get over it. So when I discovered this a few days ago, it just kept coming up. I just kept going back and seeing that every single day there's a synchronicity from 2008 until now. Then they told me the reason I started in 1989 because that was another energetic cycle of human development that we all move through, and that's why I was urged to do it then. And now they said, you're demonstrating the organization of the universe, and anyone who decides to go through this information and check it for themselves will find the evidence of that, and they will find themselves in there as well. And that was the thing. Oh, Jabran,
Yes.
you were talking earlier, and this was on another stream you were doing. You said something about your difficult, something when you were going through something, and 2017, I don't remember what it was.
Um, the beginning of my Ascension, cluster headaches.
Okay. Now, okay, so then I sent you. I took your birthday,
Search my
and
birthday.
I took your birthday. I
Hmm.
put it into the system, and I said 2017, and I sent that message
Okay.
with your birthday.
On you emailed it.
Hmm.
Okay, I'll just read it. Um, da, 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 dun. Do you know what the title of that email might have been? Your evolving
Oh
characteristics might lead to empowerment.
yes. Oh no, that well, that's one of the. I did it on your birthday though. You don't
Okay,
see that one?
8th, December 6th. I do. Okay, so December 6th,
This will be this will be fun.
December
'Cause you,
20.
okay.
You always know what to do to reach the place you desire to be in your life, but you just fail to do those things. At times, it is far more critical for you to establish clarity with yourself to move out of this position. The vital information for you to seek to know then, the vital information for you to seek to know then is why you would do that. While there may be many different aspects, reasons, or patterns of behavior you have deep while there may be many different aspects, reasons, or patterns of behavior you have developed that contributed to this, they all come down to some fear you are holding. When you finally decide that the fear is too uncomfortable for you and you no longer want to be controlled by it, you will do all the things that will manifest what you want. Wilhelm.
Does that seem like your life in 2017?
Um, yeah.
Now this has happened many times, and I doubted it. We people have come about and discovered astrology, and there was sacred geometry. There are so many things that have been discovered, but you just don't think you're going to be one who does it. That's all of us, and that's what I did. Now you can read the one about the masterpiece, because this is everyone. We all carry a masterpiece, but we will doubt it, and I did as well,
Okay.
even though it was this massive.
Um, faster. Okay, so that one is
And
from.
when I put that out, people thought that's so ridiculous. And well, when they gave us that one, people said that's ridiculous.
So this is October 1st, 2021.
Mhm.
You might also have a masterpiece. We are giving you information that will lead to your We are giving you information that will lead to our live chat with you all on Sunday, but also it is information that will be pertinent for 8 clients Roger will see today. We love saving time and demonstrating synchronicity. Those occurrences always seem to capture your attention. We will also make this fun, for many of you need that at this time. When Roger awakened this morning, we answered a question for him, and then he argued with us just as you have argued with your guides and your very own intuition. We told you all that we gave you the information in 2012 that you could use to live a happy, successful, and prosperous life. Please note, we are providing you this in stages so you will relate to it in your life. When we made the first statements to Roger and said that it would be something valuable he had already had in his possession, he found that difficult to believe. He had such difficulty that it took days for him to glance at the writings to see if anything we said might be accurate. He sensed maybe it was, but then didn't immediately start on the path we told him to take. Then he asked about the title, and we told him the answer this morning. And that is where the argument began. We told him to call the book Your Life Operating Instructions. He said, I could never do that, for no one would believe that, not even me. Now we have brought you to the place of understanding your current restructuring and how you are currently answering the question of what you believe you hold inside. The choice that you make will determine the results in your life and that of your world. We will give you one more hint leading to Sunday, and that is you were born to be unique and the same. When more of you decipher that one, you and your world will be fine.
And then that channeling session that happened in 2021, I'm just saying this now, it blew me away because when I listened to it, again, I don't remember it, but everything is there that told us what's going on now, and people will hear it. We will not all believe the same things because I couldn't have believed this, but we're only passing information. We develop different abilities. Now, there are things we will ignore. It's also, even when we're told, we all do it. There was channeling sessions a couple few years ago where Wilhelm says Roger has savant qualities that he keeps ignoring. I didn't know what that meant. And then I hid from it. And so I go, this must make some sense. How could I have done this? How did I heal everything? How did that happen? And they said, you have been organizing the information and the consciousness and of humankind. I had several people saying, you have been given the blueprint for the new humankind, because that's where the world is moving now. I knew none of that. They kept talking about Aquarius and all these different things and energies that I knew nothing about, especially Pluto. I go, I don't study that. And they say, well, that's going to be related to the United States, and you'll understand why the United States is going through a little bit of chaos right now. That is affecting the entire world, planet, because all things are connected. I go, that doesn't make any sense. And then they started showing me. They gave me all the information in 2020, and then I wrote a book, not a book, an article about it saying "Crisis in the United States," so that we could understand the changes of the energies and why it looks a little chaotic. But the only thing that matters is what we do with ourselves. Am I going to come into alignment with me and own who I am and love myself and create something wonderful because I've been given that? My life was meant to bring this in, and I doubted it. But I went through every difficulty and challenge, and you'll hear this in one of the session I'm going to give you from 2021. It was shocking to hear it. They said, "Yeah, Jesus did that. Roger did the same thing." I go, "No, I'm not going to use that." Now go to Jabran, and you'll see this. I want everyone to see this because we will make up different things about what we believe, and so Wilhelm addressed all of that. If you go to the search bar on the site and on any advice and just put in Jesus and see how many messages come up, because that's the one that made me the most afraid. We only have one place to go. And they go, don't you see that's the difficulty in your world? You've been carrying that on forever. Jesus said, do what I could. You're supposed to do what I did. Carry it on. And that's what happens. Now, when you go to the site and put that word in, you'll see what comes up.
All right. Let me, okay, stop screen. Do I have to stop that screen to start another screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no,
So,
you've already stopped it, I think. I don't know. But we'll see.
no, I just stopped it now. Okay. So
Okay.
share screen, Jesus, share,
Uh-huh.
boom. Are we seeing it?
Not yet.
or
Just
not.
make sure on the
Not.
tab, make sure you pick the correct tab.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Is that Jesus?
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Now now you read the. There should be several titles there.
You didn't believe Jesus, Tesla, or Buddha either. 2025, May 31st, 2025. You didn't believe Jesus, Tesla, or Buddha. May 18th, 2025. Jesus had the same difficulty. October 13th, 22. You didn't believe Jesus, Tesla, or Buddha either. May 31st, 26. The New Human Philosophy. Um, I don't know if this is still a Jesus. Oh, it may have Jesus inside of the reading, not the title. I get you.
Exactly.
Before in
Yeah.
human history. Your new moon will be today. We could live magnificent lives. The reason more of you will change.
Yeah. There's a reason I'm having you do this is because I want to point out to everyone, you will underestimate yourself in life. This is what I've done. This is what I have to change. I had no idea I had this much. I'm suffering through my life with little awareness that what was happening. I was creating a masterpiece. But guess what? It's the same thing for everyone, and that's what I'm going to prove. So
Should
I
I read
decided.
these two little excerpts, Roger?
Oh yeah, yeah.
March 18, 25. Jesus had the same difficulty. We are speaking of a message we provided 5 years ago on this date, but more of you will understand and accept it today, even our messenger. March 18th, 2020, 5 years prior. You didn't believe Jesus either. Roger took an incredibly long time to allow us to use those words, as he never wants to be controversial. But we, on the other hand, don't think quite in that manner. We always provide information that might ease your physical life journey. Understand that Roger began consciously receiving our information in 1988, and none of you were involved. We said this consciously because he, like all of you, has guides with you throughout your life, but you pretend you do not hear them. Now, in 2005, when others began reading our words, Roger found himself continually censoring what we might say. He thought he was doing that to protect you all in some way, but actually he was avoiding being himself, as each of you has. He has accepted more today, as will you.
Barely. I'm saying gradually, and that's what happens. That's what I want everyone to understand. So what I'm doing is, everyone will hear all of this. You'll see it. You'll read it. We will resist ourselves, and I did as well because I have never seen a person like me. You've never been seen a person like you either, and that's the challenge. But we're each meant to do something if we get out of our way, and that's what I'm doing today. When they told me this would change anyone's life, I said that's not possible, even when it was proven. You'll hear testimonials from people who have done just portion 31 days of this work, and they were completely different people. Now, I will tell you what happens, and it'll happen today because I left open 5 spaces for the program for people to take a special rate. But then it doesn't matter because anybody can do it because I'm leaving you with all the options to pick whatever you want. And the reason I'm saying that is this how it works. You don't change overnight. None of us do. And you don't, and the only reason anyone fails is that they give up. I didn't give up. I'm still here. But I had to collect all the information to give to you. And that's what I was supposed to do. Your dreams will be answered at some time in your life, and you don't even know how. Because when I was young, and I've told this story before, I saw a world that I didn't like. When I was 13 years old, John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and I was terrified because that was going to be the savior of our world, and I knew it. And I go, who's going to do it now? And then that turns out to be me. I'm saying because I have the work that could change the world because it changes anyone's life to become who they could become. That's all. We're not, one person's never going to change the world. But a lot of people who are awakened and loving themselves and doing what they want to do in their life and moving through generational patterns that told them they couldn't, then the world changed. And it's been given. Now, I couldn't have believed it, but Wilhelm says we're going to prove it to you scientifically because it's something none of you could argue with. And last night, my Jim and I was going through all of this. And they said, we're going to go through your archives and we're going to pull out all the information and start organizing it, giving it to people in a way that they can adapt to it. And that's what's going to happen. I didn't even know I had the ability to do that, by the way. Technology is not my thing, but that's what's going to happen. But this weekend until Monday, I'm giving everyone the opportunity to come into this work that will change their lives before it goes through the $5,000. I'm only going to work with people in that way, which I was told I should have done years ago, but I couldn't because I love people so much and I didn't take care of myself. But no, that's not really all of it. I had to put all of this together. I had to prove it. I had to know. I was giving up everything I was moving through in my life because I wanted to show people there's nothing that you can't overcome and get over. And now I've proven it, and the work is here, the archive is here, and I'm building the Wilhelm Institute. And any person alive that wants to live their great life, now you have the opportunity because it's guaranteed. The reason I call it guaranteed life success because I know your mission. Being this intuitive and this whatever mystic, I hate, I didn't even want to use those words, but I have to because that's what's come through. You have to accept what comes about. But I wanted everyone to have the opportunity to look at this for themselves and see for themselves. And next week it's going to change because what happens is, and what I've been doing for the last 5 years, yeah, I told people this. I'm completely okay with it. I've been allowing myself to go broke because I was determined to prove this, and it wasn't going to be about the money. But now that I have it, I can become abundant, and so can you. And that's the purpose. So now we can all become abundant. And I'm giving this to everyone this weekend, and you will see there's no way that you can fail, and you will become successful because that's why you were born. You just have to get in touch with your authentic self, and this work takes you there. I had no idea I was going to do it, but I have. So, Javon, did I give you? I don't think there was anything else, was there?
There wasn't, but I'd like to just piggyback off of what Roger just
Mm,
said and just be straight to the point. It's kind of what I introduced my whole segment with, but I'm just gonna reiterate the fact that it does work. It's very clear, very simple, very straightforward, as you know. We both know Wilhelm can be, extremely straightforward, and some of the things you may not like because it will speak directly to you and the changes that need to be made. But if you accept it and wholeheartedly go in it with faith, and I'm one of the biggest, what's the word I'm looking for? Pessimist, or people who don't really believe in something right away. Is that the right word I'm using? No, not
yeah,
pessimist.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, that would be it. Yeah,
Analytical,
that's it.
pessimistic, I got to check it out,
Mhm.
fact check it, research it, experience it for myself. So I kicked it around in all aspects with, the whole Wilhelm Institute, the Wilhelm messages, the concept. And yeah, the only thing that will deter you from getting to where you want to go, and a very tangible path to where you want to go, not just a breadcrumb path. Um, yeah, you just got to do it.
And I didn't. And I want everyone to understand. So I'll put in here. I'm leaving people with these analysis because I didn't know this had happened. No one knew it had happened. And actually, artificial intelligence was trying to tell me it didn't happen either. They were arguing with me because they can only know what they've seen before. And they said, "We've never seen this. How could I be 75? How did I heal everything? How did everything change after?" And it's all consciousness, and you'll see it. And the only
It's
thing
such
that becomes
breaking
difficult.
edge, Roger. It's on the edge of consciousness, and just
Mhm,
it's so cutting edge that even the most advanced up to the second AI was having a system
mhm,
breakdown, like
mhm.
a non
But then,
sequitur. It
but
couldn't
they,
match what it was seeing.
then they changed it. Then they started to say, "Oh, wait a
Had
minute."
to catch
They
up
start, there
and
was,
adapt.
yeah, it was funny. So everyone was seeing. Now I want to say this. I'm changing this weekend, and I just want everyone to understand. Everybody that I know, everybody that's been involved, because I know that we're not all going to believe the same thing. We can see that in our world. We're not going to all believe the same way of getting somewhere. And that's been my difficulty because I go, how could I have done this? I was told, you're supposed to marry science, spirituality, and human potential. And all of those things have been demonstrated through my life. But still, it's not going to be enough for everyone to believe. So, This is what happens. We're going through this period of wealth and income inequality, disparity and all of that everyone's talked about. And we under why did that happen? We programmed ourselves that way, and I did the same thing. I'm sitting here with the most valuable thing that anyone could have, and I'm never charging enough for it. They said because you're that's your consciousness, that's a generational consciousness, and then there are other people who are just having a great time because their consciousness says I'm abundant, and I should have more money, and I've always had it. My family's always had it. You see, it's a consciousness that we pass on. And so I was just stuck. Oh, wait a minute. I couldn't have created something this grand that could cause me to. I tried to convince myself. I said I could become a billionaire or a millionaire. And I know that that is true as well. Because when you create something that can work for anyone, that's worldwide. And that's what I have. So just had to say that. I just want everyone to see it this weekend. And next week, it's the Wilhelm Institute and all kinds of things are coming out. My site is being rebuilt and all. So I want everyone to understand we are not limited. You're born to have a great life. You're supposed to. And the only reason you won't do it is because you just don't. That's all. Okay. I'm good. I don't know if there's anything else that I sent you, Jerron, that should be read. I don't think so. I'm gonna put it off. I want them to go through the blog. There's several things in the last couple of days. I put so much in there, and there's everything there. Even if you listen, if you don't work with me, I just want you to know that this time in your life in our world, it's important for you to become who you're supposed to become. Never been more important because it's an energetic contribution that you will make and you will love yourself, which was your job. Now, there's one other thing I'm going to show you, and that is tomorrow. Jebron.
The time is now.
But the message I sent you for the 11th, and it came through in 2020, I believe. I think I sent you that one,
For the 11th,
July 11th.
July 11th. Yeah,
And,
you did.
and there would be so much more that I'll put out with that because I want people to have it.
Um, July 11th is right here.
The 2021?
Yes, here it is.
Okay.
Oh wait, that's May 30th. 1 second. December 6th, May 28th, July 16th, July 10th,
No, I thought I sent you one July 11th. No?
July 11th. I see July 10th.
Oh, open that.
Okay.
You know why?
Why?
Because this is what would happen. And I want everybody to understand it because I don't get it. I'm still coming to understand this gift that I have and starting to work with it, okay? Because they will have me sit down the day before and do something, and sometimes at night, because it would be the next day that people would understand it. Okay, so does it say when you open it up, what's there?
You are evolving faster.
Yep, that's the one.
You are evolving faster. We are using those human words to help you understand. As we have always said, everything is occurring now. So your concept of linear time will pose some difficulties in your understanding as will some of our words, but we will do our best to offer clarification. You are born into the physical world with limited awareness, abilities, and perceptions. As you mature, you begin to realize, accept, and use your abilities more efficiently, and often what seems to you to be faster. Try to imagine gaining skill in any physical endeavor or sport, and this concept may make more sense. Yesterday, we told you of Roger's shoulder, which bothered him and provided a considerable amount of pain for years, but now miraculously seemed to have effected a cure elicited by his roommate's words, triggered a remembrance within Roger of the power he has. That is what is occurring for you and the world. Yes, we are using the collective you here. We mentioned Roger was gingerly walking around as he couldn't believe it was occurring. We encourage him to accept it, for that is the only manner anything in your life becomes manifested. Today he does, as a result, is still manifested, and that condition. Today he does, as a result, is still manifest, and that condition always makes it easier for you to believe anything. For days we have given Roger information he was unwilling to share as it was complicated, but we are urging him to do it now as it will aid you all in the coming days. You are answering existential question humanity has used for millions of years to foster evolution, which is the choice of personal freedom and collective good. You are making that choice continually. You are making that choice continually in your life. So now you see, so is the world. It will be challenging because you resist change. And as Roger so brilliantly demonstrated, you have yet to own all of your ability. After all, that is the process of evolving. No matter how it appears to you now, you have no choice but to evolve your world, for your world is not disappearing.
I would receive those messages and, as I said, hesitate because I couldn't understand why am I getting this, and that's what's happened. Now, the shoulder thing. I've been through so. I'm just going to say all of this. Everyone won't do this, and I don't want anyone to judge themselves if they're going through physical things that have been challenging. I'm just not saying that that's something wrong, but I'm just saying there's more we can do. I had every single horrible physical thing going on in my entire life. Um, Allergies, backaches, pain, all that. I don't have any of those anymore. Even on surgeries and things that I could heal from, and I could never explain it. And then I kept getting better. I kept getting better numbers as I got older, and I said, "That's just counter. That doesn't make sense." But it was all the information, and it kept being explained to me. But it has to be studied. I was told by so many this needs to be studied further because we've not seen it. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, we have different levels of consciousness that we all operate from and we accept it. And a lot of it has to do with money. We just have to come to that understanding. We're seeing it everywhere in our world. But we have to understand that we are abundant because we're human. We've just been programmed to think that we're not or some others are. That's all. And so this particular change in our world was meant to bring about more balance by more people understanding who they are and becoming abundant and not allowing a few to control us. That's the entire purpose of this and the entire purpose of our restructuring. And you'll hear and see all of that. And I'm so happy you'll hear this and please, you've got to watch this session from 2021 because that blew me away. And check out all the work. That's what we have. I'm done.
Good stuff.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. All this will be out. I'm going to put it in the video. We're going to upload it all and so everyone would have it. And I'm putting in workbooks for that. Again, if you don't do anything with me, please use the information because you will go through it and you will change. And your change will be the difference that the world wanted to see. Trust me. Okay. Thank you so much.